Hello guys and good evening. So today at almost 40 p.m. that is 16:40 hours, our president William Ruto had decided and had sent us a post that he will be addressing the nation, and he addressed the nation. But let's listen to how did he address the nation. So Manze, listen and let's be taking point as you listen to this. It's really going to be tremendous. It's really going to be an amazing thing. Yesterday he called us criminals. He called Gen Z the criminals and all that stuff. So let's listen to
it. When I assumed office 20 months ago, our country was facing tremendous economic challenges. Escalating cost of essential household commodities, high fuel prices, rapid depreciation of the Kenya shilling, and spiraling public debt were threatening to ground our economy. My administration has worked hard and consistently so that today
it's reality that the nation was in tremendous debt. But let me ask, Uhuru Kenyatta, our former president, within 10 years, Kenya had a debt of Kenya shillings 6.1 trillion. But right now, within the 20 months that he has been in government, Kenya right now has 11.6 trillion. That is not really the real figure, but that's almost what it has. And that is within 1 year and some months. So let's ask ourselves, listen again.
The prices of essential commodities like unga have dropped from 240 shillings for a 2-kilogram packet to Kenya shillings 100, majorly attributed to our fertilizer subsidy program, the resilience of our farmers, and good rains that were given to us by God. During the period, we reduced the price of fertilizer also from 7,500 to 2,500. Petrol prices have come down from a...
So, is it the same fertilizer that has been it was really bad to the farmers? It even passed as a bill that the fertilizer is not good. Is it the same fertilizer that was the price? Question number one. Then another question, Unga has dropped, but how many things has has risen? Sometimes we have to think like this. Anyway, let's go on listening to our beloved president.
High of 217 to now 187 a liter. The shilling has strengthened against the dollar from a high of 165 to now 127, 128. We have made significant progress in pulling the nation back from the brink of debt distress. Our debt situation is better managed, and our budget now has space for investment and in programs aimed at easing the hardship on vulnerable people and creating opportunities for our young people. Our GDP grew by 5.6% last year, ranking Kenya among the 27 fastest growing economies in the world. Our inflation figures have fallen from a high of 9 and 8 in May last year to 5% in April this year. It is instructive for the nation to know that for every 100 shillings we collect as taxes, we spend 61 shillings in debt service. We have paid Kenya's Eurobond debt that was borrowed in 2014 of $2 billion that has been hanging around our neck.
So the Kenyan government has paid that amount that he has said right now. But let me ask, after it has paid that one, euros, the euro dollars that was borrowed back in 2014. Now the Kenya has again borrowed. It has paid, but it has again borrowed the 5 point something trillion. Oh, amazing! Let's go on listening to our beloved president.
We paid the last installment of $500 million last week. Today, Kenya's debt burden is much less, more sustainable, and we are on course to redeem our country from the discomfort of debt and assert our sovereignty. Early this year, Treasury had proposed a budget of 4.18 trillion. I did direct that it be reduced by 200 billion to come down to 3.99 trillion. The Finance Bill 2024, generated to actualize this budget, underwent public participation, which resulted to concessions by which we agreed to drop proposals on VAT on bread, motor vehicle circulation tax, VAT on locally manufactured diapers and sanitary pads, as well as excise duty on money transfer services, among others. The additional tax measures we had proposed in this year's financial.
Before you go on, Mr. President, you have mentioned that the things that you proposed with your members of parliament to reduce or to omit them from the budget. But why are you taxing our lands? Why do you have land levy? Why do you have some other social media levy? No, I understand you want to create jobs for the youth as you had promised, but let me ask you, why do you have to do it the way you are doing it? So anyway, let's listen to you, our excellency.
Finance bill were to raise money in the tune of 346 billion. When the concessions were made, subsequent to public participation that was undertaken by Parliament, that came down to 200 billion. I had made this proposal taking into account our situation and the priorities that are there. I want to thank the members of Parliament seated behind me and those who voted yes for identifying the priority areas of our nation. Because when I made the proposals to Parliament with my cabinet, we had certain critical priorities for the nation. Number one is our agriculture. We did make recommendation, and part of the money we were going to raise from the finance bill was 10 billion shillings that will go to fertilizer subsidy, 18 billion shillings that would go to making sure that junior secondary school teachers, 46,000 of them would be confirmed on permanent and pensionable basis. We are very clear in our minds that education being the greatest equalizer, no child in Kenya should go to a school where there is no teacher or where there are no adequate teachers. It is because of that reason that in this finance bill also.
Before you go on, Your Honor, our Excellency President, so no student or no child should go to school that doesn't have adequate teachers, enough teachers, and as you have said. But let me ask you, So does it mean like what Kibaki made free, it has to accost the Kenyans instead of like making the higher levels free, you add them, yeah? After that, how will you be helping us, the Kenyan, like Kenyan citizens? How will you be helping us in that way?
We had committed to hire an extra 20,000 teachers. We also had envisioned, because of the program of last mile connectivity to homes, especially in rural areas, we had committed 14.5 billion shillings, 50 million for every constituency for the last mile connectivity. Because we realize that there are many people who today cannot go to hospital because they cannot afford, because they have no health insurance. We had committed 6 billion shillings to operationalize our universal health coverage plan that would make it possible for every citizen to have a health insurance, those who cannot afford to be paid for by the government of Kenya, and to also operationalize the chronic illness fund that would make it possible for those who suffer from cancer, diabetes, hypertension, to be able to go to hospital, be treated, and go home without being asked for any money. We also had planned.
It because they will go home without paying, right? So they should be taxed so that they to be treated instead of like making it free. If it's making it free, just make it free. And that's what we would suggest as Kenyans.
To put in money for our coffee farmers to retire the heavy debts that are bedeviling our coffee farmers. We also had allocated money for our sugarcane farmers to make sure that our sugarcane farmers get out of the debts that they're in. We had also committed to our milk farmers 2 billion shillings to make sure that every farmer is paid a minimum of 50 shillings per litre to make sure that these farmers, very hard-working citizens of our nation, get a fair return for their hard work and for feeding our nation. And that is why I commend these members of parliament for agreeing with us that all the priority areas I have mentioned were the right priorities to be funded. And by so doing, they supported the proposal to incorporate also the views of the people. These members of parliament came back to us after they went to listen to the people of Kenya. And they came back and reduced the budget on their own.
Your Excellency, before you go on, that's a lie. No Kenyan could have passed the bill. And if it is so, Right now, they could not have, there could not be riots, there could be no demonstrations, there could be no protests if the Kenyans really advise your members of parliament. They are not our members of parliament because they did against us, your Excellency. So if they were advised really by the Kenyans right now could not be complaining the way they are complaining, your Excellency. And remember that the coffee farmers nationwide, they are owed like almost let's say like 6.8 billion. That's the money they are owed. But I think this one, like if they pay 100 per person, I think it can be, it's over with their debt. So stop like doing that, because I don't think that will be helping them. That I don't think will be helping them. It doesn't matter like if you buy from them coffee at 200, and then when the taxes are like deducted, they get 90 bob or 80 bob, so it will not make any difference. Yeah, I think that's my idea.
to buy 146 billion shillings. Notwithstanding all these concessions, it has become evident that members of the public still insist on the need for us to make more concessions.
These members of the public are the ones you said yesterday they are criminals. Yeah, you called them criminals, bro. Today they have become members of parliament because tomorrow they say they will be coming to the state house, and that's amongst the biggest reason why you did not sign the bill, because you don't want again to be embarrassed that you took your police to Haiti, and yet in Kenya there are some things that are happening. Anyway, we understand that, and we really appreciate it. Go on, Your Excellency.
And because I run a government, but I also lead people, and the people have spoken. I am grateful to all the members of the National Assembly who voted yesterday affirmatively for the Finance Bill 2024 as amended on the floor of the House to incorporate the views generated through public participation. And following the passage of the bill, the country witnessed widespread expression of dissatisfaction with the bill as passed, regrettably resulting in the loss of life, destruction of property, and desecration of constitutional institutions. On my own behalf, and on behalf of these members and many other Kenyans, I send my condolences to the families of those who lost their loved ones in this very unfortunate manner. Consequently, having reflected on the continuing conversation around the content of the Finance Bill 2024.
Your Excellency, before you go on. So you have said 6 people are confirmed dead. I would like to inform you, Your Excellency, that they are like, according to this is 5 hours ago data, there are at least 13 protesters who were killed during a protest in Kenya, and more than 165, more than 100, that's more than even 200, who went to the hospital and who are like released. So this one is 1 hour ago. Listen, it is at least 22 people were killed. The Kenya National Human Rights Commission said that I want to ask to listen to these guys so that we don't be fooled here, because it's really like I don't know what's wrong with this, but anyway, let's listen to this. At least 22 people were killed. Human rights group said the police were accused of some shooting deaths. In Githurai, there were fire bullets, like live bullets, which were fired. I don't know why they killed that innocent mom and some more other youths, as people were going home after they had demonstrated their rights. So, like, we should wonder that, as you are telling us, like, we have to, we have to, we have to know what's happening. and like all those stuff, so Your Excellency, uh, it's really bad. So this is listen, this is just about July 45. July 45, it is like this one is July number one. Kenyans are asked questions. Is Githurai a protected area? Is Githurai an area where Kenyans should not stay? Why was there a massacre where people lived? We demand answers. This is one of the CS, I don't remember the name, she asked. So, and remember that that's only. So let's guys, I wonder sometimes why is this like this? Huh? So according to the official, Kenya National Hospital received 15 victims from Githurai following the night shootings. That is according like almost like those are a lot of people. And then here that they also added that at the hospital had attended to over 100 victims from the ongoing protests, adding that some had sustained energy from live and rubber bullets. If they were really good to us and they wanted peace, Your President, Your Excellency, they could have shoot like the way they do shoot Jew. Wasitupige sisi marisasi, they shoot Jew. Anyway, Your Excellency, tunakusikiza.
And listening keenly to the people of Kenya who have said loudly that they want nothing to do with this Finance Bill 2024, I concede, and therefore I will not sign the 2024 Finance Bill, and it shall subsequently be withdrawn, and I have agreed with these members that that becomes our collective position.
Your Excellency, as they clap for you, do you know that right now we didn't want as Kenyans for you to not sign the bill. We wanted you to reject the bill. You had three options when the bill came to you. Number one, to sign it, or number two, to like don't sign and give it back to the Senate to go through it, and number three, reject the bill. In our demonstrations as Kenyans, we never told you to say like you won't sign it. That's not really rejecting. We want you to reject the whole bill, because in reality for us, I don't think we want that bill. As Kenyans, we don't want that bill. Anyway, let's listen to His Excellency what he is telling us.
Accordingly, there is need for us as a nation to pick up from here and go into the future. And I am therefore proposing that because we have gotten rid of the Finance Bill 2024, it is necessary for us to have a conversation as a nation going forward. How do we manage the affairs of the country together? How do we manage our debt situation together? How do we work on the budget with the deficits that now exist together? And as I committed last Sunday, I will be proposing an engagement with the young people of our nation, our sons and daughters, for us to listen to them. As I said on Sunday, listen to their views, listen to their proposals, their ideas, their concerns, and what they think we should do better as we go forward. I am also recommending a multi-sectoral, bipartisan, multi-stakeholder engagement from civil society, religious organizations, professional bodies, for us as a nation to speak to the future of our country, again, together. And this will be on matters.
So these leaders, the church leaders, the religious leaders, the political leaders, who you are calling now to speak to the future, which the future of the country is us, the Gen Zs and the Gen Millennials. Yeah, the generation Millennials and the generation Alpha and Alpha, that's the future of the country. So you are calling them to talk to us, but you didn't, when they called you to reject the bill, you didn't listen. Yeah, when you went and vote with the Bible, you are not listening to the Kenyans who gave you that seat. You are leading, as you have said, like you are the leader of the government. Yeah, you have the government and you lead people, But let me ask you, Your Excellency, whatever happened yesterday with the deaths, the killings of the young children, yeah, and the young generations, that maybe some of them they don't even have kids. That's too bad. Like leaving a parent with just bringing up yesterday, with just bringing up. Yeah, they have not ate any fruit from their kids. Anyway, that's not enough. Let's listen and we will come on to the conclusion too.
That are contained in the bill and matters that the people of Kenya have canvassed in the conversation that has been going on.
Stop calling it conversation, Your Excellency. Call it the way you called it yesterday. Yeah, the protests, like the demonstrations that have been going on. Don't call it talks. You call it talks like they look really peaceful, but you don't want it to. Like we demonstrated in a peace way, but call it the way you called it yesterday. Remember, yesterday you are talking, yeah, and you talk the way you want to talk, as your excellency. You said you will be the president of Kenya, Your Excellency. So let's listen.
In this regard as well, I am directing for immediate further austerity measures to reduce expenditure, starting with the office of the president, the entire presidency, and extending to the entire executive arm of government. Operational expenditure in the presidency be reduced to remove allocations for the confidential fort, reduce travel, hospitality, purchase of motor vehicles, renovations, and other expenditures. This will cover the entire presidency.
Your Excellency, don't go to relax. So, let me ask you, Your Excellency. Kenya is right now. You have seen your state, and the MP and whoever they should reduce vehicles and all that stuff. But let me ask you, why shouldn't they reduce the expenditures they use? Some of them, like the sitting allowances and all that stuff. What do they need if they are being paid like if it's really a bottom up? Indeed, you should. I think you should cut their salaries to two. That's what I think.
And also the executive arm of government. I also propose that equally, Parliament, the judiciary, and county governments, working with the National Treasury, also undertake budget cuts and austerity to ensure that we do live within our means, respecting the very loud message that is coming from the people of Kenya.
Of course, Your Excellency, it's a very loud bang that surprised you. Yeah, but remember that, Your Excellency, That's sometimes even if we are young, but I think that's how it happens when you don't listen to the people who give you the like who made you become a president. Yeah, for example, those people who you are like you are trying to be considerate right now, who you yesterday night you talked how you talk to them, they are the same people who elected you. But yo,
And let me confirm that I have discussed with many stakeholders. I will be meeting some of them shortly after this meeting on charting a way forward that makes sure that we carry the whole nation in this very important journey as we go into the future as a country. Let me also confirm that as we deal with austerity, the loud message on dealing firmly, decisively, and expeditiously with corruption is a matter that we have discussed and we have agreed that it will take the front burner as we go into the future. We will continue to do this and carry out this very important conversation. And I want to remind us that we should proceed within the foundational principles upon which our nation is founded, namely constitutionalism, adherence to the rule of law, and respect for constitutional institutions. We must continue to operate within the parameters of the law. I thank you.
thank you very important, Your Excellency, for your speech, for your address. But I have not heard you talking about the land levies. I have not heard you talking about like the people who have rent houses. I have not heard you talking about many things in the bill, Your Excellency. Don't think like we are just talking about the diapers and the parts, but we are also concerned with those lands our grandmothers and our grandfathers there in the Ushago they fought for. There was like a bloodshed the same way there was bloodshed yesterday, 25th of June 2024. There was also bloodshed the same way it occurred 1963, 1964 when they were fighting the Mau Mau people they are called. So how do you tax those people their lands? How does the government come to have ability to access your land? How do they have to access to on our lands? Such things, we have to understand, Your Excellency, and you are not giving us a direct answers. Kindly give us direct answers. Let's listen to the questions. I have not heard you talking about the social media. Yeah, you have just talked like how people will get is it like what by the CCI or whatever. Let's listen. You will talk about that. Let's listen.
I will take a few questions, 3 questions to be specific.
Thank you, Your Excellency. And the first question will start with Elizabeth Mutuku from TV47.
Good evening. My question is on young leaders from the Gen Z generation who were abducted yesterday and the day before yesterday. What happens to that? Second, there were young people who were killed during the demonstrations. What do you speak of that as the head of state? Thirdly, how do we move forward on the budget cuts, especially now that you've said that we're going to have austerity measures, yes, but how then do we secure development?
Thank you very much. Please. No, it's okay. So I have said young people, 6 to be exact, 6 people yesterday lost their lives. Very unfortunately, they shouldn't have. lost their lives. And I have said it is a very unfortunate situation. I have said it is a very, and I have said it is a very unfortunate situation. I wish that would not have happened.
Your Excellency, let me ask you. You're the one who gives orders. So how does it happen that you are like hii kitu inakupatia stress? Aje sasa bana. Mzee unafanya kitu alafu kisha unakuja kusema inakupatia stress. How does that happen? You know, like some things you have to accept anyway. Go on talking.
And there is a framework that will make sure that those 6 Kenyans who died yesterday will be accounted for. Number 2, I did promise the country that there will be no extrajudicial killings going forward. And ever since I came into office, there is not one incident of extrajudicial killing. What you said about abduction are statements that were attributed to some of our civil society groups, but all the people they mentioned have since been found in police custody, and those that were already processed were already released. On the matter of development that you have said, minus the finance bill, it means that some of the development programs amounting to 200 billion shillings, we will have.
So let me give you in specific numbers. I think it's on it. At least 22 people were killed. The Kenya National Human Rights Commission Chairperson Ruto'S journalists 300 others were injured and 50 people were arrested. So, and then, listen to this. A mother of a teenager who was killed ended the told journalist at Morgue that the police who shot her son should be arrested and charged with murder because her 19-year-old son had been unarmed. How do you kill an armed person, Your Excellency? And then, listen to this. He had just completed a school and was peacefully protesting. Yeah, indeed, we are peacefully protesting. And also, I think that the Parliament, City Hall, and the Supreme Court were on Wednesday with tape reading, crime scene, do not enter. Authorities said the police fired over 700 blanks to disperse protesters in Nairobi, suburb of Githurai, overnight. Videos of gunfire were shared online. Your Excellency, I believe you have seen the videos like those people in Githurai, those people in the police in town. Yeah, why were they firing like these people? Kenya cannot afford to kill its children just because the children are asking for food, jobs, and a listening ear. That is our Baba Raila Odinga who said so. And also, like we have to remember that the youth commonly referred as Gen Z, the Generation Z, mobilized the protest and sought to keep lawmakers from approving the financial bill on Tuesday. So let me ask you, Your Excellency, yeah? I think you have seen in the media how the people, the Gen Z, they were handling your men, the police, yeah, the GSUs and all those the peaceful lawmakers, yeah. You see how they were dealing with them. No one was hurt until those police started like overdoing it, yeah. So why are you doing this to Kenyans, Your Excellency? Go on answering your questions, Your Excellency.
To cut down, to delay them. They will have to wait, some of them, for next year. We will try it again.
Your Excellency, why should they wait to next year? Like maendeleo hayafai kusubiria, those things are like not supposed to wait. But let me ask you, Your Excellency, you are an MP almost 700 millions, and they are getting the allowances. You are being paid a lot of money, Your Excellency. So why don't you deduct yourself and some of the MPs and pay the Kenyans' debts? Furthermore, it's your work to act as a good father to the nation. You have called us your sons and your daughters yesterday. You called us criminals. So why are you changing your words? Kindly don't change. Just be where you stood yesterday because of anger. Stand there. Don't go down. Yeah. We don't need you to cool down, Your Excellency.
We will try next year to find some money. Some of them we will have to cancel because that's the nature of things. And it is because the people of Kenya have spoken loudly that they want a leaner budget for us as a country.
Your Excellency, we didn't speak loudly. We acted. We boomed loudly, kindly. Yeah, you have as a Kenyans, we didn't speak. We acted. Yeah, we spoke before. We didn't listen. But yesterday, what we did, we acted accordingly. And I think there were those protesters who had really bad intentions, like, for example, stealing and others. But also, you have seen pictures online that even people were amongst the thieves. So don't worry about that, Your Excellency.
Question number 2.
We'll take the next question from Busara, K24.
Naam, swali langu la kwanza ni wazi kwamba matumaini ya vijana wa Gen Z na baadhi ya Wakenya kwa wabunge yamepungua kabisa ama hata yamepotea. Kwa hivyo kama rais unachukua hatua gani kuhakikisha kwamba tunahusisha vijana katika maamuzi muhimu hasa katika masuala ambayo yanalenga taifa ama ujenzi wa taifa? Swali lingine, je, utahakikisha vipi uwazi katika mpango wako wa kupunguza matumizi serikalini? Maana umesema kwamba kuna austerity measures. Je, kutakuwa na transparency? Na swali la mwisho, ningependa kujua kama pengine kutakuwa na fidia kwa wale ambao walifariki ama kwa familia kwa wale ambao walifariki hapo jana, na je, serikali itasimamia malipo ya wale ambao hospitalini hivi sasa wanapokea matibabu kutokana na majeraha waliopata hapo jana? Asante.
Thank you very much. About 214 Kenyans were involved in various skirmishes, and many of them went to hospital. 95 of them were treated and released. Some of them, I think one is still in ICU, and others, I think 14, the minister is here, are still in hospital, but majority of them were treated and released yesterday. As I have told you, on those who lost their lives, there will be a mechanism of how they will be accounted for. On the young people whom you have said, how do we listen to them? Let me say the following. Number one, I did make a very clear, determined program to create opportunities for young people to work. It was in our manifesto. It is in my plan. As I talk to you, 3 of the programs are going on. The housing program today has 160,000 young people working as engineers, as architects, as quantity surveyors, plumbers, masons, carpenters, artisans, transporters, accountants. We have 160,000 young people working because I did take the decision that if we don't deal with millions of young people out of school, out of college, who have certificates and they don't have jobs, they will soon become a very big challenge for us as a country, as we are witnessing at the moment. All the young people you see They are looking for opportunity. They are looking for jobs. And that is why our housing program, once it is fully rolled out, we will have a minimum of 500,000 young people working in our housing program. Number two, I have been very clear on making sure that additional to our housing program is our digital infrastructure, the digital superhighway, the digital hubs, and the whole ecosystem of what we are doing in creating digital jobs. I was in Ruiru with Honorable Kingara, who's right there, not more than a month and a half ago, launching a hub that will hire 4,500 young people under CCI. In this budget, we had added 10 billion shillings to CDF for them to be able to construct ICT hubs in each ward in the Republic of Kenya.
Your Excellency, before you go on, can you kindly tell us the money that you gave to the CDF the other year, that is the last year, what did it do? Where is it? We are not seeing anything done by them, like what as it was proposed in the financial bill, Your Excellency. Furthermore, Kenyans will be read the financial bill and we have to understand the financial bill better. I think that is what we
That would give opportunities for 200 to 300 young people in every ward to access internet, to be trained, to have a hub, and to monetize their digital skills. We will still find another way of implementing this plan, even if we have to cut back on CDF, if that is what is going to happen. Again, because we believe that young people deserve opportunity. As I talk to you, we've just concluded 3 bilateral agreements, one of them with Germany, on export of labor. Because we have negotiated with many countries who are interested in the high skills of Kenyan labor. And we have an ecosystem, we now have a plan on how we are going to make sure that the young people in Kenya get opportunities to work either in Kenya or outside Kenya. In fact, just last week, I saw on the headlines of one of the dailies, there was a gentleman from my village. He was put on the headline. And he said he operated from where I used to operate selling chicken. That's why they put him in the headline. And his complaint was, you see, the president has not done well because in this village, many people are going to look for jobs outside Kenya. That gentleman did not know that those people in our village that have gone to Saudi Arabia or UAE, I am the one who supported the program for them to go as part of the export of labor.
Uongo bwana, Your Excellency. Even before you came, even when during
So he thought that those people were going away because there were no jobs in Kenya. But it is part of this plan I have kept on talking about, because I think it was called Misoy or somebody. If you go and check the headline, I think of last week, Thursday or Friday, he was there. He didn't know, the good young man, that I think we have almost 500 or 400 and something people around that village that have actually gotten jobs outside Kenya. And they are changing that village. And that is actually an admission by that gentleman that our plan on export of labor is working. And number two, that when we committed ourselves to making sure that we create opportunities for young people to work, we meant it. So we have a program on housing, we have a program on digital jobs, we have a program on export of labor, we have a program on the whole manufacturing sector. Let me give you another example. Now I'm talking this as a leader. We deliberately, last year, said we cannot continue to import products that we can manufacture in Kenya. One of them was clinker, cement, furniture, steel. What has happened the last 1 year? Very many, in fact 5 to be specific, companies have sought licenses in Kenya to do clinker, to do cement. And last year, because of what we did, we reduced the import of clinker by 95%. We saved foreign exchange, we created jobs locally. I was in West Pokot with my Minister for Industrialization. I'm sure the members of West Pokot, they are here. They were there with me in West Pokot, opening a clinker factory that now hires 2,500 young Kenyans, with another almost 2,000 as drivers, support staff. A big market now in West Pokot. Expanding manufacturing in Kenya is the right thing. And it is the reason why some of our policy interventions on matters like imported stuff that are being manufactured in Kenya. For example, we have said substandard, low quality imported sanitary pads from China and other places. How can they come into Kenya when we have 10 companies in Kenya hiring Kenyan young people? How can they come and compete here? All the products that we are manufacturing locally, we must protect our local industries so that they create jobs locally, so that they create opportunities locally. In this finance bill, you will also see that we have imposed duty on potatoes from Europe. Surely, how can we continue importing potatoes from Europe? And we have farmers right here in Kirinyaga. We have farmers right here in Nyandarua, in Molo, in Timau.
Your Excellency, you don't know even where potato is being farmed in Kenya, Your Excellency. The potato is not potato in Your Excellency. Why between our demonstrations, Your Excellency? Anyway, you have been told by your MPs, and there we see our Geshogo MP, Bwana Geshimo. He is there. We are seeing him. Bwana Geshimo, welcome to the country. Honorable member.
How can we justify? How can anybody take offense that we have imposed duty on imported potatoes. We have put duty on imported eggs, on imported onions, because we must protect our local farmers. Every country does that. Every country does that. I was negotiating with the Prime Minister of India because they are imposing duty on our avocados. I was in Korea negotiating with the government of Korea because they are imposing duty on our tea, on our coffee, and on our macadamia, including our avocados. Every country does that to protect their market, unless there is a mutual agreement. So these are amongst the things we are doing to make sure that we grow our local manufacturing, create local jobs.
Your Excellency, so what you need is not to decrease the export, is to have mutual agreements with those people. We have got you now. So in short, you need some more revenue, which will be, if let me ask you, you've said the other day you traveled going to to talk about our macadamia, avocados, and everything, yeah. But then we don't want them to export to import to our you want us to import, but you don't want them to you don't ask to export. That's what you mean, Your Excellency. We are still getting you. Go on.
Create local wealth. That is how we are going to move forward as a country. We cannot continue to be a supermarket for other people's factories. It is important that we also produce our own products. Our young people can produce products in Kenya which are of high quality, which are of international standard, and we can do that. So I just wanted to clarify this point because it is addressing the young people of our country. And I am looking forward to a conversation with my sons and daughters, the young people of this nation, to explain to them the opportunities that they have. And I want to listen to them. What additionally do they want me to do? What can we do better? And how can we move the country forward together? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Excellency. That marks the end of the question session. Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Your Excellency. So guys, that was the speech from His Excellency Bwana Ruto. I think you have heard for yourselves, guys. And let me ask you in the comment section, kindly make sure you give us the best feedback you can give us ever, because we really need that. Because we want to know what he has told us. Does it mean we shouldn't go for people should not go for Mandamano? But anyway, let me just read this before I go. So Al Jazeera's Malcolm Webb, reporting from Nairobi, said that some of the protest organizers, as well as others, have met Ruto's speech with a great deal of skepticism. What is skepticism? Skepticism is like a feeling that this thing is not enough. Yeah, we still doubt it. Number one, many says that they will still go to the streets on Thursday as planned. So that is tomorrow, 27th, 06, 2024. People says they will still go to the streets. And then another thing that there's still clearly a great deal of mistrust. We don't people don't trust Ruto. He has already broken the trust. Yeah, that is what Webb said. We just spoke to one of Kenya's leading lawyers. He represents a political opposition. He explained that Ruto's speech and said communicates his people on the bill, but constitutionally it does not amount to anything. He said, I quote, yeah, that's what he said. And then for the president to turn around this process, he would have to communicate with a memorandum to parliament to officially reject the bill. Webb said, adding that people are waiting to assess Ruto's next step. So that is another thing is launch an inquiry, mainly youth led the rallies began last week. Remember, these rallies began last week. Indeed, we all know that. And however, tension spiked yesterday. But they have said, right now, we have 23 people who were killed and another 30 were being treated for bullet wounds. Those are the really bad, but the really people who are there, they are more than that. So those are the things that we have for now. Kindly have a good evening. Take care of yourself, and we love you a lot.